What's happening, everyone? Welcome back and thank you for stopping in. Today I have a fun one to do for you guys. This is going to be 3 budget knives that you cannot live without. So we're going to start it off quickly here with the KIZER T1. But first, if you are not subscribed, hit that subscribe button down below. I'd love to have you guys here. And if you like EDC content, if you like knife content, preparedness content, you are at the right spot. Ring the little bell. That way you get notified anytime I drop a new video. I do overviews, reviews, unboxings, disassemblies. I do a little bit of everything. So you are in the right place if you love EDC content. And before you head out, do me a favor and hit the thumbs up button. And leave a comment down below if you have some extra time, or if you have any questions, go ahead and leave it down below. So we will kick this off, like I said, with the KIZER T1. Now this is one of my favorite models from KIZER. This thing is so well done. Coming in right now at 80 bucks. It is a phenomenal value. We will go through quickly and do a little talk about, and then we will move on. This is a drop point blade that is coated, and KIZER does a very good job with all their blade finishes. Their DLC type coatings, their black wash, their stone wash, their satin. You really can't go wrong with most of KIZER's knives, but this one is by far in the top echelon of my favorite KIZER knives, period, ever. It is coming in 154 cm for 80 bucks. I mean, that is a freaking phenomenal deal. You are getting KIZER's beautiful, amazing micarta, so well done. Some of my favorite micarta of all time is on this knife right here. Now this one had just come out. This is the KIZER Dam Designs Mad Tanto. I do have an overview and an unboxing of this. I'll put a card up here if you have not seen it, but the micarta on this one, they are very similar, but I would say they're even upgrading at this point. Like, this is a 9.5 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10, and this is a 9.5 or a 10 out of 10. Very well done. So just to show you a little different micarta options, but this is some of the best, and trust me, I've had some horrible micarta and I've had really good micarta, and this is most certainly some of the best that you could ever ask for. So you do have dual thumb studs for your deployment methods, and they are stepped, which is the norm for thumb studs. Straying away from the stepped design is a recipe for failure, basically. Now, there are some thumb studs that have been revamped or redone that are not stepped like this and have been successful, but I would say the majority of companies that stray away from this sort of design struggle with their thumb studs being uncomfortable. And I'm talking $40 knives to $300 knives. The first company I think of is TRM. They do like a little cap with a recess around the cap, and it is just so uncomfortable on your thumb. After a few flicks of the knife, your thumb is fatigued and hurts. They even came out with O-rings, rubber O-rings to put around it to make it a little more comfortable. Now, I love my TRMs, but, you know, the point being, if you're going to stray away from it, make sure, you know, in prototype phase that they are comfortable. But that is what I'm getting at. These are so well done, so comfortable to thumb flick, so comfortable to reverse flick. It doesn't matter if you want to use your nail or if you want to use the meat of your finger. The detent is nice and stout, but it's not too overdone to the point where you can't flick the knife out. I prefer to use the meat of my finger if I'm reverse flicking, at least this one. And the thumb flick is beautiful on this knife. If you have large or extra large hands, this is going to be right in the sweet spot. I love this size. I love this knife. This is one of the best values on the market right now. 80 bucks, 154. Amazing micarta. They did do a little different of a pocket clip than normal, like Civivi, KIZER, Kuby all tend to do the same steel stamped pocket clip. And yes, this is just a steel pocket clip. Yeah, but they kept it short, they kept it minimal, and on top of all of that, it spoons up, easy in out, easy in the pocket, easy out of the pocket. Very minimal. I love this pocket clip. This would be my second choice behind a titanium clip, something similar to this. It's nice and short, doesn't come halfway down the scale, and it's not all bulky and big. So very well done. Lanyard hole for 80 bucks. The KIZER T1 is a winner in my book. So we'll move on a little quicker from that one. Next up is another micarta bad boy. This is the Petrified Fish Victor. This is coming in K110 steel. I don't know if I can pull, yeah, right there. K110, which is very similar to D2. Not my first choice in steels, but for $40 to $45, very hard to beat. Now this is a little bigger of a knife than the T1. I would say not by much though. It can't be a whole lot bigger. You get a little more handle and a little more blade. Not a whole lot bigger, but it is bigger, and you can tell that in the hand. So if you do have a little bigger paws, definitely one to look at. Now, especially if you're a fan of clip point blades, which this is, it does not clip horribly bad though, to the point where it makes it very hard to use. I have tested this knife and used it, and it works very well. Now, does it work as well as a Wharncliffe or a sheep's foot or a drop point that's nice and low, similar to the T1? Maybe it's not as good, but it doesn't always have to be about what is the most useful. If you already have very useful knives, sometimes it's just about what you like. And I love clip point blades. Are they the most useful, like I said? No, probably not. But there's just something about a badass clip point in a pocket knife, especially a fixed blade, like the K-bar. That's what this always reminds me of, like a mini folding K-bar, just because of that blade shape. I love this knife. So we'll move on. You do have, it is coated, so it's going to be corrosion resistant up until a point, but that D2, you know, can pit. But the coating on this knife and the coatings that they use nowadays are very, very well done. Very, very hard to mar up or, you know, get any kind of damage. You really have to, you know, you'd have to run this along a nail or some sort of metal, and even then it might not get through the whole coating. Coatings these days are very, very well done, very strong. You do have a well done flipper tab. The light switch method is perfect on this. You can also, if you have the fingers for it, you can do the push button. It's a little pokey. It's not meant really for the push button unless you're doing it like right from the top. But you can push button it, and I do that. Sometimes it will fatigue your finger eventually. But what's awesome about this knife is you have a Vero-like cutout. It's a little deeper and shaped, you know, a little differently, but they mill out the opposite side of the blade so that way you can get in there for a nice reverse flick with your nail, or you can get in there with the meat of your finger. Very well done, very well placed. You can ride right up in that hole and fire it right out. The detent on here is nice and stout. Not too much though. I would say just right, just perfect, and they nailed it. Sometimes companies struggle with a flipper and a hole or cutout similar to this, and Petrified Fish just nailed it. 45 bucks, hard to beat this guy. The micarta is very well done. It's very good micarta. It might be a little smoother than, say, the T1 or the Mad Tanto, but you know, the Mad Tanto and the T1 both cost about double, close to double what this costs. So I think both the KIZERs are right around 80. This is coming in right around 45, and it's very well done, guys. The clip is a typical steel clip, but it works. It's well done. You don't have anything shooting up at the end, which I appreciate that. I hate when the pocket clip shoots up and then ends there. It can dig into your hand when you're squeezing the knife, gripping the knife tight. But because they flatten it out there, it makes it comfortable. There's nice room in there for in and out of the pocket. They do recess them screws, guys, and onto the screws and hardware, they are all blacked out. Very well done. Very good knife for 45 bucks, guys. If you do not have a Petrified Fish, I highly recommend checking one of these out. And to top it all off, you do have, I think that's a micarta backspacer. Is it? I think it is micarta. But it's like a geared micarta backspacer. I love this knife. It is a great knife for 45 bucks. It is a must-have for sure. Last up, oh yes, the Kuby Drake in M390. Now, there are several models of the Kuby Drake. Now, they have a couple budget-ended models. One of them comes in 14C 28N. That one's like 56 bucks. Good material choices, good, you know, the design. I love this design. I love that blade shape. So for 56 bucks, you can get 14C 28N, and you can get G10 handles. And I believe it comes with a titanium pocket clip. Now, they do have another one that comes in AUS 10. Now, that one actually costs 62 bucks. And if you asked me, now it's a little bigger. There's two sizes too. So if you get on Amazon or Kuby's website and start looking at these, there are two sizes. This is the little smaller one. I believe this one's coming in at like 3.7 maybe. Let me double check. I think it's 3. Oh, it's 3.5. Okay, so it's 3.5. So actually, I think there's at least two, if not three sizes of the Kuby Drake. Now, the reason this is on here, you might be thinking M390, that's a premium steel. This is not a budget knife. Well, I've seen these as low as 80 bucks, guys. Right now it's coming in $100. You know, 100 and under is my budget line. Right around the $100 mark is a budget knife, guys. You know, because there are knives that go up into the thousands of dollars. There are production knives that go into the $700-800 range. So $100 and under is a budget knife. You know, it doesn't matter budget or not. $100 and under is a budget oriented knife. Now, does that mean you can't get a good knife for under 100 bucks? No, and that's the, you know, the point I'm making here is you can get M390 G10 handles with a milling pattern in them, well done hardware, and look at that. You get a freaking titanium milled pocket clip that is very well done. It looks awesome. It works awesome. This is one of my favorite all-time value knives right here. You're getting that very, very useful modified sheep's foot, modified Wharncliffe blade. I love it because you have just this slightest bit of belly here and it comes to a nice point. You do have this ramp here for your thumb. In this grip, it is so comfortable, it's ridiculous. And then one of my favorite grips, you can get right up on the point here, guys. Guide it, precision cuts. One of my all-time favorite knives. I can't say it enough. And another reason this knife is awesome as well is the way they do this cutout. You can get in it up here at the top of that hole. You can get to it down at the bottom. You can get to it in the middle. And all three of them are comfortable, guys. I tend to just stick like right at the middle towards the top. And the thumb flick feels so good on this knife, guys. If you like that blade shape, this is a must-have. M390, Kuby is known for doing well on their heat treats. I've talked to people who sharpen knives for a living, and Kuby does a good job on their S90, on their M390, and then 14C and all their other steels. They do a great job. So you don't have to worry about that. They do a very good job on this flipper tab. Perfect for the light switch. They round it off a little bit so you can even do the push button, and the detent is perfect on this, guys. It just fires out of there. All the deployment methods are very, very comfortable. I love the thumb flick on this, riding right up into the scale. So you can just basically ride this hole right up to the top and then build up enough pressure and it fires it right out. You can just start down here, boom. Very well done, very nice. Your thumb wants to just kind of hit that wall right there. And very comfortable in hand. 3.5-inch blade, perfect size for EDC. The handle is shaped very well. It's fairly neutral shape, and I have bigger than average hands, and my hand fits perfect on this handle. You do not feel that clip at all. It doesn't poke you. The back of the handle doesn't poke your hand or make it uncomfortable. A very good EDC and work knife right here, guys. This is a good all-around knife right here. And then, like I said, you get that titanium pocket clip. If you don't believe me, it is titanium. Yeah, the hardware is steel though, which is to be expected. But they do that nice satin finish. It doesn't look gas station-y. It's very well done, guys. The liners are hidden in there. They're recessed into the scales, which I also appreciate. Kuby is one of my all-time favorite companies. And they do an awesome job on their $100 and under knives. And they also do a phenomenal job on their higher end knives. They offer titanium and S90, titanium and S30, S35. They offer M390. I don't know exactly what all, that's what they have done. I'm not sure what all they offer at this point, but they do dabble in very premium steels. And I love Kuby. The action is phenomenal, nice and hydraulic. It's not that cheesy drop shut, you know, budget drop shut. It's nice and hydraulic, a little wiggle, and it's gonna come down. As you can see there, if you keep your finger, it will drop shut all the way down if you miss that flipper tab. But if you let the flipper tab hit your thumb there, boom, very well done, guys. So that is the Kuby Drake. We'll get them all out here. The KIZER T1. And last up, the Petrified Fish Victor. There they are, guys. If you hung out through the whole video, thank you. This ran a little longer than I wanted it to, but 3 knives, 22 minutes. That's good for old G-Ball. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button down below. I'd love to have you. Can't tell you guys how much I appreciate all of you who watch the videos. Give a thumbs up, leave a comment. So well appreciated, guys. I love y'all, and I hope you have a good night.